Nos encontramos aquí en el Brasserie. Carnales, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos sean todos ustedes a un especial de lujo, una gran banda. Es un honor tenerlos aquí de nueva cuenta, a platicar con ellos. Tenemos la oportunidad de platicar con Misfits. First of all, Robo, Jerry, it's an honor to talk with you. How do you feel here in Mexico?
I love Mexico, especially Mexico City, so it's good. We're playing Hermosillo. I had to learn how to say that. So that's good. Last time we were there, we were in a parking lot to like 5,000 kids, and it was just and windy, and it's good. No, it's the kids here really like the music, and I'm happy we can do this.
And I think that I really think that made me happy about that is that you see the crowd and it's a lot of new generation. I mean, probably they don't listen Walk Among Us, or probably they listen it because of somebody older. But the new generation is keeping the music of Misfits, and that's really important. It's really hard to get it, right?
Yeah, I think that the American Psycho album and the Famous Monster album is more favored by the younger kids. They seem to adapt to that more, and that's good because that's the way we're moving with our music, you know, and it's going well, and we're working on a new album for the kids, and we can't wait after this time we'll come back with a new record for you guys.
Cool. Talking precisely about the new album, do you already write or start playing some new music for that album?
Yeah, we really do, and it's got a wide variety of different things, some real classic songs that you're going to like, and you know, we're not trying so much to fit in the mold. And when we did American Psycho, we wanted it to be a straight punk album from the beginning to the end, and we did that. And with Famous Monsters, we used a little bit more imagination, songs like Helena, or, you know, Kong at the Gates and Forbidden Zone, things like this. So with this album, we're even going to work on that more. We're going to come up with some really abstract ideas and really grow musically and spiritually into what we do.
Cool. Now, talking about the music, Robo, how hard is to start the creating process of a new album?
Pues siempre lleva tiempo y mucha práctica y concentración, que desgraciadamente con tanta gira que hacemos no nos ha facilitado mucho, pero ahora hay que cometerse para poder sacar estas grabaciones adelante, y lo que se ha escrito está bueno. Yo creo que sí les va a gustar.
About the lyrics of these new songs, you're gonna steal with the horror themes that I really love.
That's who we are. We don't want to change who we are. We just want to improve. You know, so the Misfits will always be a nightmare in the music field, and we will always really focus on horror and images of your imagination that scare you. So we're trying to be a band that actually makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck. So.
Now, talking about the history of Misfits, I mean, in my opinion, one of the best albums in punk history is Walk Among Us. What could it be, or why do you think make that special, this album in particular?
Because it defined what we were, the sound, the song titles, the what do you want to call it? The playing, the way we played it. It was, if you were to say, well, what would represent the Misfits? It is the Walk Among Us album. And we actually did it 2 times. We did it once before, which became 3 Hits from Hell with London Dungeon. And it had 2 guitar players, Bobby and my brother Doyle. And then we re-recorded the Walk Among Us album with a couple new songs. And we had 2 shots at it. So it came out much, much more definitive, I think you would say, on target the second time around. And I think that's really why Walk Among Us, in my opinion, from the old stuff, is the best record we've done, the most to define us. Static Age had Last Caress, Attitude, more very, very classic songs, but yet it didn't say this is the Misfits in one word, you know, and Walk Among Us does that. So.
Cool. Now, Robo, I know that you were with Misfits probably in the early 80s with an album. How do you meet each other? How do you get in touch?
En esos años, en el 81, yo había salido ya de Black Flag, y cuando volví a visitarlos en una de esas noches, me preguntaron que si quería volver a tocar. Yo dije, sí, me gustaría empezar a tocar otra vez con alguien. Y me mencionaron en la banda Los Misfits. Yo nunca los había oído ni los conocía. Y se me preguntó que si quería hablar con Glenn. Yo le dije, bueno, sí. Y los llamaron y charlé con Glenn, y que sí, que estaban buscando un baterista nuevo. Yo le dije, bueno, pues si me envían unas composiciones para yo escucharlas. Y a la semana me envió unas composiciones y nos comunicamos de nuevo. Le dije, sí, sí me estoy interesado, me gusta. Y desde esa época empecé.
Cool. We were talking about the relationship of. Yeah, you get it, you get it.
Pretty good Spanish for an Italian, right?
The relationship between Misfits and Black Flag. How was it at that time?
East Coast, West Coast. On the East Coast, you had the Ramones, but the Ramones were more a global act at the time. I mean, they're playing in England, play South America very, very much. The biggest shows for the Ramones were in South America. And the Misfits was New York, and Black Flag was L.A., and it was two different. We worked well together because it was two different visions. The Misfits was a horror punk kind of vision with abstract science fiction theme, and Black Flag was more of a hardcore band out of L.A. that had social problems with the cops and the scene in L.A. Because the scene in L.A. is all this foo-foo fluff stuff, you know. So I mean, you know, they were hard edge. They would always have the police fighting with Black Flag on the West Coast. So when we played together, we brought the skinheads, we brought the punks all together. So we would do really big shows with Black Flag, and we were all friends. When we went to L.A., we would stay by SST Records and sleep on the floor. And when we were in New York, they would come by my house, and my mother would make lasagna and do wash for them and stuff. So we teamed up together, and we worked well.
But I think that it's really important to maintain that team up if you want to grow a scene, right?
Yeah, well, it's also important to have two different visions. You know, because like we're going on tour with Motorhead. The Motorhead brings a lot of the metal crowd, and the Misfits bring a lot of the punk crowd. So because of the combination, the show becomes twice the size. So I mean, you know, that's what we're trying. That's what we used to do with Black Flag.
Now, I know that because of your lyrics that you are a horror fan, and I'm a horror fan. Can you recommend us a horror movie, your favorite horror movie, and you too, Robo?
Go ahead.
Las películas de horror que siempre me gustaron fueron las viejas. Las películas de Bela Lugosi, Frankenstein, Drácula con Bela Lugosi. Nosferatu, que fue una de las primeras. Sí, todas las de black and white.
And Jerry?
Yeah, I think if you haven't seen it, you should see Horror Hotel.
Horror Hotel.
Yeah, see.
It does.
Well, it's got a very satanic, demonic issue to it, but it's filmed very, very well. And if you haven't seen it, it's pretty classic. I think that would define a real classic horror for me.
Cool. Well, I would like to thank you very much for the time of this interview. I mean, it's an honor to talk with you, and I know that the show is going to be great, and I know that the new album is going to be great. A lot of people are waiting for that album.
Yeah, and we want to say hello to Presidente Fox.
And last question: how do you see?
My guy.
How do you see calls for this season?
Excuse me?
The calls, the Indianapolis calls. I know you're a fan from.
Well, don't forget, we have giant tickets. And last year, they wanted us to send the money for the Super Bowl in October, and they stunk. So I didn't send the money, so I didn't get Super Bowl tickets. But, I'm a Colts fan from when I was small. But, now I kind of root for the younger brother at the Giants. So I'm hoping that the Giants can come back and do it again.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to talk with you, Jerry.
Everybody,
Rava.
Mexico City, God bless.
Hermanos, gran banda es todo lo que puedo decir. Ellos son Misfits y continuamos con Mando Le Cambio. Estamos aquí en Soundcheck.